I never thought I'd find myself sitting on my couch, staring at my phone, realizing that my daughter-in-law had blocked me. At first, I thought it was some mistake. Maybe she was cleaning her contact list or accidentally hit the wrong button. I even convinced myself it could have been a tech glitch, but deep down, I knew better. It wasn't just a block on social media, no. I tried texting her to ask about dinner next weekend, and the message didn't go through. I tried calling, straight to voicemail. That was when my stomach twisted into knots. Out of pure confusion, I opened my Facebook, thinking maybe I'd reach her there. Except, I wasn't even on her friends list anymore. Her profile was gone. As if I never existed. Hold on a moment before we move forward. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. And if you're loving these stories, don't forget to hit subscribe. Tomorrow's episode is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. A wave of something I couldn't quite name washed over me. Somewhere between sadness, humiliation, and disbelief. I sat there frozen, staring at my phone like it would suddenly start making sense. I scrolled through my texts to check when was the last time we spoke. 3 weeks ago. She had asked me if I could help with the down payment for her new car. I had wired her $2,500 the same day without thinking twice. And now, blocked. My heart pounded. Surely my son didn't know about this. Ethan would never allow it. I clicked on his contact and hit call. It rang once, twice, then went to voicemail. I tried again. Same thing. That's when it hit me harder than anything else. It wasn't just her. Ethan wasn't answering me either. I sat there in my living room, staring at the family photos on the wall. The one where I held Ethan on his 5th birthday. The one from his graduation. The wedding picture. I remember that day so clearly. Standing there, smiling, proud. I had paid for the wedding dress, the flowers, the photographer, but looking at that photo now felt like staring at strangers. A lump formed in my throat. I blinked hard, refusing to cry. I wasn't going to let this break me. Not yet. But my hands were shaking. I opened the family group chat to check if anyone had noticed something. My messages from last week were still sitting there, unread, not a single reply, nothing. I tried texting my granddaughter, Ava. Hey, sweetie, just checking in. Hope school's going well. Love you. Delivered. But no response. I got up and walked to the kitchen, trying to steady my breathing. I made myself a cup of coffee, hands trembling the whole time. I needed to understand what was happening. What did I do? What had I done that was so terrible they felt the need to cut me off like this, and then it hit me. The vacation, the family cruise. It was next week. I had booked and paid for that cruise 7 months ago. Every single penny. It was supposed to be a surprise gift for the whole family. Ethan, Olivia, Ava, little Liam. Even Olivia's mother, Patricia, who had always treated me like an afterthought. I didn't care. I wanted us to spend time together. I thought, maybe if we had a week together, I could feel like part of the family again. I remember the day I booked it like it was yesterday. Olivia was complaining about how expensive vacations were, how stressful it was to plan, how they hadn't had a proper family trip in years. I had quietly called the cruise line the next day, paid up front, booked 3 cabins, upgraded to ocean view, even paid for excursions at the islands, snorkeling, dolphin watching, zip lines, all of it. I had emailed the confirmation directly to Olivia 2 weeks ago so she could check the details. And now, this. I sat back down at the kitchen table, gripping my coffee cup like it was the only thing keeping me grounded. How do you block someone while preparing to go on a vacation paid by them? I checked my emails, scrolled back to find the reservation. Yep, still there, fully paid. My name on the billing, their names on the passengers. My hands started shaking again. I pulled open the folder in my kitchen drawer where I kept important documents, the cruise confirmation, the invoice, the full passenger list. My name wasn't even included. I had told them to go without me. My idea was simple. This is for you guys. You deserve it. I'll stay home and enjoy the quiet. And now, I wasn't just excluded from the trip. I was blocked from their lives. I sat there, They were angry because they couldn't imagine a world where I didn't keep funding their life, cleaning up their messes, babysitting on demand. And now, that world was real. Friday morning, I packed my suitcase, loaded up my car, and drove to the cabin upstate. It was small, simple, right on the edge of the lake. A wooden deck with 2 rocking chairs, a little fire pit out back, a hammock strung between 2 trees. Perfect. I spent the first hour just walking the property, breathing, listening to the water, feeling the weight fall off my shoulders like someone had finally cut the rope. No one could reach me. Not Ethan, not Olivia, not Patricia. They didn't even know where I was. And for the first time in years, I didn't care. I sat on the deck that evening with a glass of wine, watching the sun set over the water. The sky turned orange, then pink, then deep purple as the stars came out. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't sad, not even a little. I thought I would be. I thought walking away from them would feel like losing something. But it didn't. Because the truth is, I never really had what I thought I had. Family? No. I had responsibilities, obligations, tasks. I had become a service, a wallet, a babysitter, a problem solver, and when I stopped doing those things, suddenly I wasn't family anymore. Good, perfect. I spent the weekend hiking, reading, sitting by the water, sleeping in, eating whatever I wanted, doing absolutely nothing unless I felt like it. And when Sunday afternoon rolled around, I sat on the deck, notebook in hand, and added to my list. Change my phone number. Remove Ethan and Olivia from my emergency contact forms. Update my will. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't some angry revenge. It was just closing a chapter. A chapter that should have ended years ago. When I got home Sunday night, I did exactly that. Called the phone company. Changed my number. Called my doctor's office. Removed Ethan as my emergency contact. Gave them Claire's number instead. My niece. Someone who actually showed up. Someone who actually cared. Then I called my lawyer, scheduled an appointment. No more money for Ethan in the will. No trust fund for the grandkids. No. They had made it clear exactly where I stood in their lives. Now they knew where they stood in mine. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't angry. I was free. On Monday morning, I stood in my living room looking around. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It wasn't the silence of loneliness. It was the silence of peace, of boundaries, of freedom, and as I opened my laptop to book that bed and breakfast in Maine, I realized something simple. I was never the problem. Looked up cooking classes at the community center. Found one for Mediterranean recipes. Signed up, looked up art workshops. Found a beginner's watercolor class on Thursday nights. Booked it. For me. Just for me. I made dinner. Watched a show I actually liked. Not something I pretended to enjoy because the kids were over. Not something I had on in the background while folding laundry they dropped off last minute. Just something for me. The phone stayed quiet most of the evening until one last message came in from Ethan. If you don't want to be part of this family anymore, just say it. I stared at it, then typed, you said it first. Send blocked. Silence. Beautiful, well-earned silence. I sat back on the couch, stared at the little candle flickering on the coffee table, and realized something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom. The Monday after the cruise fiasco came and went. No calls, no texts, nothing. By Tuesday, it was clear. They weren't going to reach out again, at least not for a while. I figured maybe they were busy coming up with some narrative where I was the villain and they were the poor, innocent victims. Maybe they were sitting around Patricia's kitchen table, plotting the next round of guilt-tripping messages. Or maybe, just maybe, they were finally realizing that the free ride was over. I made breakfast. For myself. Toast. Eggs. Coffee. Simple, quiet, no one demanding anything, no one expecting anything. For the first time in years, the quiet wasn't lonely, It was peaceful. I walked around the house that morning, noticing things I hadn't paid attention to in years. The dusty shelves in the guest room I used to keep, ready for the kids when they stayed over. The framed family photos in the hallway, pictures of birthdays, holidays, vacations, memories that now felt like someone else's life. I pulled them off the wall, one by one, not out of anger, out of clarity. I put them in a box, sealed the lid, and shoved it into the back of the closet. Gone. I wasn't pretending anymore. They didn't see me as family unless it benefited them, so I didn't need the pictures. I didn't need the constant reminder of all the years I spent bending over backward for people who would drop me the second I stopped being useful. Around noon, I opened my laptop, checked the cabin rental for the weekend. Confirmed. Fully paid. Ready. Then, on a whim, I opened my email, clicked on blocked, and scrolled through the list. Ethan, Olivia, Patricia. I wasn't ready to unblock them. But I did check the spam folder. There were 3 emails from Ethan, all sent late Sunday night. The first one was long, rambling, defensive. I don't know what you were thinking, but this isn't how families handle things. You should have called. You should have explained. You didn't have to blindside us like that. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it was to show up and be told there was no reservation? I deleted it without reading the rest. The second one was shorter. Look, I don't even care about the cruise anymore. I just don't get how you could turn on your own family like this. Over a misunderstanding. Delete. The third was the shortest. Guess we know where we stand now. Yes? Yes, they did. I closed the email, made lunch, then spent the afternoon cleaning out the garage, a job I'd been putting off for years. I found old toys the kids hadn't touched in over a decade, boxes of Ethan's college stuff he promised. He'd come back for but never did. Junk. All of it. I loaded it into the trunk of my car and drove it straight to the donation center. Gone. Out of my house. Out of my life. That evening, I sat down with a notebook and wrote something I hadn't written in years. A list titled, Things I Want to Do for Me. Go to that cabin by the lake. Take the watercolor class. Sign up for yoga at the community center. Visit that bed and breakfast in Maine I kept putting off. Replace the living room furniture. Something that feels like mine. Not kid-proof, not family-friendly. Mine. Travel to Italy. I've been talking about it for 20 years. I stared at the list. For the first time in a long time, it felt real. Not a wish list, a plan. By Thursday, something strange happened. The silence didn't just feel peaceful. It felt powerful, I realized. They needed me more than I ever needed them, and they always had. Ethan and Olivia weren't angry because I canceled the cruise. I wasn't rushing to answer a call because Olivia forgot something or Ethan needed last-minute help with the kids. For once, I wasn't trying to figure out if I could stretch my retirement money a little further to cover some sudden crisis. That somehow always became my responsibility. I checked my email while sipping my coffee. No surprise, not a single message from them, no apologies, no explanations, no excuses, nothing. I scrolled through my banking app again, just to see the refund sitting there. $8,162, right back where it belonged. It felt right. Around noon, I stopped by the farmer's market, bought fresh flowers, picked up some honey from a local vendor, bought a handmade candle that smelled like vanilla and cinnamon. Small things. Things for me. Things I never used to buy because I was always putting everyone else first. It was funny. In the middle of the market, I realized. I had no idea what I even liked anymore. I had spent so many years compromising, putting my wants on the back burner, making sure Olivia got what she wanted, making sure Ethan didn't feel overwhelmed, babysitting, loaning money, bailing them out over and over. I couldn't remember the last time I spent money on something that wasn't for someone else. Until now. I got home, put the flowers in a vase, lit the candle, and sat on the couch. And then, my phone lit up. It was Ethan, a text. I opened it. We made it back. Just wanted you to know. That was it. No explanation. No apology, no asking for forgiveness. Just a statement. I stared at it, didn't reply. 15 minutes later, another text came in. This one was longer. I don't even know what to say. You blindsided us. The kids were heartbroken. We spent 2 days trying to figure out last-minute plans. Ended up driving back home. Olivia's furious. Patricia's furious. I just don't get it. You could have talked to us. You didn't. Have to do this. I sat back on the couch, reading it twice. Talk like when they blocked me? Talk like when Olivia emailed the cruise line behind my back? I didn't reply. Instead, I stood up, grabbed my laptop, and opened it. I had been thinking about this for a while. There was a little cabin upstate I'd looked at a few times online. Nothing fancy. Just a quiet place by the lake. Cozy, peaceful. With a porch swing and a fire pit, I pulled up the listing. Available for next weekend. I booked it. Paid in full. No hesitation. I smiled at the confirmation email. This time, the name on the reservation was the only one that mattered. Mine. As I closed the laptop, my phone buzzed again. Olivia, you humiliated this family. You embarrassed us in front of the kids, in front of everyone. I don't even know how we come back from this. Maybe we don't. Maybe this is who you've always been. Petty, vindictive, selfish. Selfish. Right. Because for once, I had said no. For once. I had chosen me. I blocked her. No hesitation. A few seconds later, Ethan again. Look, I get it. You were upset, but you need to understand. You hurt the kids. Ava cried the whole way home. Liam doesn't understand what happened. You didn't. Just hurt us? You hurt them? I don't know how to explain this to them. Explain it? Simple. Grandma stopped paying for things for people who don't treat her like family. But I didn't send that. I didn't send anything. I just stared at the message, realizing that this right here, was the only time in years Ethan had actually tried to communicate without asking for something. Too bad it took a canceled vacation for him to remember my number. I set the phone down, walked to the kitchen, made a cup of tea, turned on some music, and for the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for anyone's approval. I wasn't waiting for anyone to decide whether or not I was good enough to be included. I wasn't begging for a seat at a table where I was only welcome when I brought the check. No, that was over. 6:30 p.m. Another text from Ethan again. Are you just never going to respond? Is that it? You're really going to throw away this entire relationship over a misunderstanding? A misunderstanding. That's what they were calling it now. Blocking me? A misunderstanding. Removing me from the cruise contact? A misunderstanding. Treating me like I was disposable until they needed my money? Sure. A misunderstanding. I didn't reply. Didn't need to. Instead, I opened my computer again. And my power. Back. At 10:06 a.m., Ethan tried again. Mom, just explain what's happening. If this was a mistake, we can fix it. But you need to answer. A mistake. It was never a mistake. It was a choice. The same way they chose to block me. The same way Olivia chose to email the cruise company, instructing them to remove me as the primary contact. The same way they chose to act like I didn't exist. Right up until the moment they needed me to exist. I wondered how that conversation went at the check-in counter. Sorry, sir. There's no reservation under your name. What? No, that's impossible. We have no record of a booking. There must be a mistake. My mother-in-law handled it. Well, sir, the reservation was canceled by the billing party last week. I smiled. A text from Patricia arrived next. I always knew you were bitter and miserable, but congratulations. You've managed to ruin this entire family vacation because of your toxic attitude. This is why no one can stand you. No one can stand me. Right, except when the bills are due. Except when someone needs a babysitter. Except when Olivia wants help with tuition. Except when Ethan needs help catching up on the mortgage. Funny how tolerable I was when the checks cleared. But the moment I stopped being useful, suddenly I was the problem. Another call. Another voicemail. I ignored it. I scrolled back in my photos, found the picture from Christmas 2 years ago. The whole family sitting around my tree, smiling, laughing. Back then, I had paid for everything. The gifts, the food, even the matching pajamas Olivia insisted would be cute for the family photo. I looked at that picture now, and it didn't make me feel sad. It made me feel stupid. I deleted it. Gone. By 11:20 a.m., the tone of the messages shifted. The anger turned to panic. From Ethan, "We're trying to see if there's any cabin left, but the cruise is sold out." This was the kids' spring break trip. "What are we supposed to do?" From Olivia, "They offered us a wait list, but nothing's guaranteed. And if we don't get on, we're stuck here. No hotel, no nothing. We drove all the way here for nothing." A tiny part of me wondered. Were they more upset about missing the cruise, or about having to pay for something themselves for once? I didn't respond. Didn't need to. At 12:05 p.m., Ethan tried one last time. "Mom, just, please, explain. What is this really about? You could have told us if something was wrong. Why would you do this?" I stared at that one for a while. Longer than the others, and then I typed back. Just one line. "Why would I pay for a vacation I wasn't invited to?" Send. No follow-up, no explanation, just that. 10 minutes later. Silence, no more calls, no more texts, nothing. They knew. I stood up, poured myself a fresh cup of coffee, and stepped out onto the back porch. The sun was warm, the breeze gentle. Birds chirping, peaceful. I had spent so many years bending over backwards for them, paying for things, taking care of things, cleaning up their messes. And for what? To be treated like a burden? Like an afterthought? Like an ATM with legs? Not anymore. Opened the banking app on my phone. Watched the numbers on my account balance. It felt good. Better than it probably should have. But it did. I deserved that money more than they ever did. A notification popped up. An email. From Paradise Seas Cruises. "We're sorry to hear you won't be joining us for this voyage. We hope to welcome you aboard in the future." Maybe I would. Just not with them. The silence that followed wasn't the kind that made you anxious or uneasy. It was the kind that felt, deserved, earned. For the first time in years, my phone stayed quiet. No endless texts. No sudden phone calls asking for favors. No passive-aggressive messages disguised as family updates. Just nothing. The day after they showed up at the port, I didn't hear a single word from Ethan, Olivia, or Patricia. Not one. It was as if they had simply vanished. Or maybe they assumed I had vanished. Either way, I wasn't complaining. I spent my Saturday morning exactly how I wanted. I went to the little cafe downtown, ordered my favorite blueberry muffin and a large coffee, and sat by the window watching people pass by. Couples laughing, families walking together, friends chatting about weekend plans. It was peaceful. For once. "Then you won't mind figuring this trip out on your own. Mom, be serious." I am. People are counting on this. No, Ethan. People were counting on me. And you made it very clear that I don't count. There was nothing but dead air on his end. Then quietly, "Mom, the kids were looking forward to this." So that's what they were pulling now. The grandkid guilt card. Classic. "The kids are innocent," I said, steady. "And it's a shame they have parents like you and Olivia." "Come on," he groaned. "You're really doing this?" "I already did." He exhaled, long and sharp. "I don't believe this. You don't have to. This is unbelievable. You're punishing all of us because of a misunderstanding?" I let out a dry laugh. "A misunderstanding? You erased me. You blocked me. Olivia sent the cruise company an email asking them to remove me as the primary contact. Don't play stupid." He went quiet. Busted. "I saw it, Ethan. I read it. You think I wouldn't?" More silence. I continued. "You and Olivia had no problem pretending I didn't exist. Until, of course, you needed something. Mom. His voice was flat, defeated. I didn't wait for more. I hung up. No drama, no yelling, no sobbing. Just done. By 5 p.m., Olivia started. Trying. Margaret, this is childish. You're affecting the kids. This was supposed to be our family vacation. I don't know what your problem is, but you're ruining this. Blocked. Then Patricia. You've really outdone yourself. Always. The victim, always so bitter, you need serious help. Blocked. Then Ethan again. You don't have to do this. We can talk. Please. Let's just fix this. Blocked. I made myself dinner, sat down, watched TV, and for the first time in years, the silence was peaceful. No guilt, no obligation, no being taken for granted. Just me. And as I sat there, my phone now blissfully quiet, I realized something. I wasn't sad. Not anymore. I was free. Friday morning arrived exactly how I imagined it would. Bright, sunny, no clouds in the sky, the kind of day perfect for a cruise vacation. At least for some people. I woke up early, made coffee, and sat at the kitchen table with my phone nearby. Not because I was waiting for anyone to call. No, that part was over. But I knew today was the day they were going to the port. Today was the day reality would finally catch up to them. I had thought about whether or not to feel guilty, about whether the kids would be disappointed, whether Ethan would spin some story to Ava and Liam about how Grandma ruined the vacation. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't, but I realized something pretty simple. I didn't owe them anymore. Not money, not explanations, not guilt, nothing. At 9:13 a.m., my phone vibrated, an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, another call. Different number. Ignored. Then a text. We're at the port. They're saying there's no reservation. What the hell is going on? Ethan? I stared at it. Didn't reply. Another message popped in seconds later. Mom. Seriously, this isn't funny. They have nothing under our names. They're saying the reservation was canceled last week. Did you do something? I set the phone face down, got up, made myself breakfast, bacon, scrambled eggs, toast. I ate it slowly, took my time. By the time I was rinsing my plate, another wave of messages came through. From Ethan, from Olivia, from Patricia. Even Ava tried, calling from Ethan's phone. The thing was, I didn't feel anxious. Not one bit. They were standing at the cruise terminal, luggage in hand, probably surrounded by excited families checking in, smiling, taking photos for Instagram. And then there was them, trying to check into a trip that didn't exist anymore. Least not for them. A text from Olivia came in, longer this time. Margaret. They're saying the booking was canceled. The entire trip is gone. This is not okay. We have 2 kids here freaking out. I don't care what your problem is with me, but this is beyond petty. How could you do this? This is childish and cruel. Call me now. Childish cruel. I sat back down, crossed my legs, opened my laptop, logged into my email. There it was, a confirmation from the cruise line that the full refund had been processed, right back to my checking account. $8,962 cleared. Processed. Safe in my bank. I leaned back in the chair, staring at the screen for a moment. For the first time in years, I had my money. I didn't know exactly what they'd do when they arrived at that port next week, or how they'd react when the cruise staff told them they had no reservation. But one thing I did know, I wasn't paying for their vacations anymore. The first day after canceling the cruise, my phone didn't ring. No texts, no calls, no emails. Nothing. It was strange. Peaceful, but strange. I knew they hadn't figured it out yet. It made sense. The cruise wasn't scheduled until next Friday. They probably weren't thinking about it. Probably too busy packing and pretending I didn't exist. I spent the day cleaning the house. I wasn't sure why. Maybe I needed to feel like I was putting things back in order, including my life. By evening, I made myself dinner. For once, just for me. No thinking about whether Ava wanted chicken nuggets or whether Liam would complain about vegetables. No calls from Olivia asking me to babysit last minute. No sudden emergencies. Just me. And it felt good, but part of me kept glancing at my phone, wondering when the fallout would start. It didn't come that day, or the next, or the day after. It wasn't until Thursday, the day before the cruise, that everything exploded. At 10:42 a.m., my phone started buzzing. Not from Ethan, not from Olivia, from Patricia. I stared at the screen as it rang. Decline. 10 seconds later, a text. Call me. It's urgent. I didn't respond. Less than a minute later, my phone buzzed again. Ethan this time. Mom, we've got a problem. Call me. I set the phone down on the kitchen table. Let it vibrate, let it ring, let it go. 30 minutes passed. Then an email came through. From Olivia. I clicked it. Subject, urgent. Cruise issue. Margaret, I don't know what's going on, but the cruise line is saying the reservation has been canceled. They're saying there's no booking under our names. I'm sure it's just a mistake. Can you check on this ASAP? We're supposed to check in tomorrow morning. Call me. I sat back, sipping my coffee. I let it sit there, unread, unresponded. By noon, the emails doubled, then tripled. At 1:17 p.m., a flood of texts started, from Ethan. Mom, why is the cruise canceled? What happened? From Olivia. This better be a mistake. Did you forget to confirm it? Call me now. From Patricia. I knew you would pull something like this. You are so petty and jealous. Grow up, Margaret. I laughed. Out loud. A bitter, humorless laugh. Petty? Jealous? I opened my email and scrolled back to Olivia's message from earlier in the week. The one where she asked if the drink packages were included, like I was the family concierge. I didn't reply then. And I wouldn't reply now. I walked into the living room, grabbed the remote, and turned on the TV. Let them figure it out. At 2:02 p.m., the house phone rang. The landline. The one nobody ever calls unless it's serious. I checked the caller ID, Ethan. Against my better judgment, I picked it up. I didn't say anything, just held it to my ear. Mom? Ethan's voice. Tense. Mom, what's going on? The cruise is canceled. Silence. I just got off the phone with the cruise line. They said the person who made the payment canceled it. That's you. Why? What happened? What's going on? I didn't answer. Mom, talk to me. I took a breath. Figure it out. What do you mean, figure it out? His voice was sharp now. Is this a mistake? Did something happen? No mistake, I said calmly. Nothing happened. A pause. Then why? Why would you cancel it? I didn't raise my voice. I didn't even sound angry. Why would I pay for a vacation I wasn't invited to? Dead silence. What are you talking about? He stammered. You and Olivia blocked me. You didn't even bother pretending anymore. So I figured, if I'm not part of the family, I shouldn't be paying for the family. That's not... He started, then stopped. That's not what this is. I waited. We needed space. Olivia thought it would be better if... I cut him off. If I disappeared? No, Mom, it wasn't. You're blowing this way out of... Save it, Ethan. My voice was ice. You blocked me. Olivia blocked me. You didn't think I'd notice? You didn't think I'd find out? You really thought you could take my money and pretend I didn't exist? It wasn't about the money, he snapped. But he sounded less sure now. It was never about the money. Oh, really? I let the silence sit for a moment. We don't want any confusion when we check in. Her, not my mother-in-law, not even Margaret, just her. My stomach turned. The email continued. She won't be traveling. The trip was always meant to be for our immediate family. Just to clarify in case there are any issues at check-in. Thanks. I read it twice. Then 3 times. Then a 4th. My hands were ice cold. It wasn't just that they blocked me. It wasn't just that they excluded me. They had erased me. I scrolled. Further down. There it was. A reply from the cruise company. Understood. The The main point of contact has been updated to Ms. Patricia Reynolds. No wonder I hadn't received any recent updates. No wonder they were so confident in pretending I didn't exist. They thought I wouldn't find out. They thought I wouldn't do anything. They really believed that. I stood up from the kitchen table and paced back and forth, gripping my arms to steady myself. All those years, all those holidays spent making sure my grandkids had everything they needed. Buying school supplies when Ethan and Olivia said money was tight. Helping with rent that time, Ethan forgot to pay the mortgage. Babysitting for hours, sometimes overnight, whenever they wanted, to go on their trips. Dropping everything when Olivia had her back surgery so I could cook, clean, take care of the kids. And this was the thanks. I opened the drawer next to the fridge, the one where I kept every receipt, every invoice, every email confirmation. Pulled out the manila folder labeled Miller Family Cruise. Inside was everything: payment confirmations, passenger lists, email threads, my bank statement showing the $8,762 payment to Paradise Seas Cruises, paid in full. I sat down, flipped the folder open, and grabbed a pen. I circled one line in the invoice. Billing name: Margaret Miller. Passengers: Ethan Miller, Olivia Miller, Ava Miller, Liam Miller, Patricia Reynolds. Billing name: mine. All the money: mine. I closed my eyes. They were about to step onto that cruise, smiling, laughing, sipping cocktails by the pool, on my dime, while pretending I didn't exist. A sharp pain twisted in my chest. Not the physical kind, the kind that's heavier, deeper. The kind you carry when you finally realize you were never family to them. Not really. You were convenient, useful, but not family. I opened my laptop, logged into my account on the cruise website. There it was. Reservation, PS45932, confirmed. I hovered over the button. Cancel reservation. A part of me paused. This wasn't who I was, or maybe it wasn't who I used to be. But then, another email popped up, from Olivia, as if the universe wanted me to see it. Subject line: Hey, quick thing about the cruise. I clicked it. Hey, just wanted to double check. The drink packages are included, right? And the dolphin excursion for the kids? Just making sure since it's all handled. Let me know. Thanks. No greeting. No. How are you? No. Hope you're doing well. Just a transactional email, like I was some customer service rep, like I wasn't the woman who raised Ethan, who rocked him to sleep when he had ear infections, who stayed up all night making his Halloween costumes, who worked 2 jobs when his dad left so he could have a normal childhood. I sat back. I looked at that email, and I realized something that hurt more than anything. They never loved me. They loved what I could do for them. I moved my cursor, clicked, cancel reservation. A pop-up appeared. Are you sure you want to cancel? This action cannot be undone. Yes. I typed a short note in the box. Reservation canceled by billing party. Hit submit. A new screen loaded. Your reservation has been successfully canceled. A full refund will be processed to the original payment method within 3 to 5 business days. I leaned back in my chair. For the first time in a long time, I felt something close to peace. But also, I wasn't done. Not yet. I opened my email, typed a reply to Olivia. Hi, Olivia. Unfortunately, there's been a change regarding the cruise. You may want to check with the cruise line directly. Best, Margaret. Simple. Cold done. I hit send, then I blocked her number, then I blocked Ethan's and Patricia's and anyone else connected to them. I stared at my phone. Silence. For the first time in years. Blessed silence. Then slowly a smile crept across my face. Staring at that piece of paper, and something inside me shifted. It was like a curtain being pulled back, showing me something I had refused to see for years. Every birthday I paid for. Every loan I never asked to be paid back. Every babysitting hour they treated like an obligation I should be grateful for. Every Christmas gift that was met with a polite thank you and forgotten by New Year's. Every sacrifice I made, I started seeing it all clearly, not as acts of love, but as patterns of being used. And what hurt the most was realizing that they never even saw me as part of the family. Not really. My phone buzzed. For a split second, my heart jumped. It was a text from my niece, Claire. "Hey, just wanted to check. Are you still coming to Mom's dinner next week?" I stared at it. At least someone remembered I existed. I typed back, "I'll let you know." But my hands were trembling. Not from sadness anymore. From something else entirely. Rage. Not the loud, dramatic kind. The quiet kind. The kind that simmers under your skin when you realize how foolish you've been. How blind. How generous to people who never deserved it. I stood up, walked to the cabinet, and grabbed the cruise documents. My eyes scanned to the customer service number. I sat back down, took a deep breath, and I dialed. The automated voice came on. "Thank you for calling Paradise Seas Cruises. How can we assist you today?" I pressed 3 for reservations, then 2 for cancellations. A young man answered. "Thank you for calling Paradise Seas Cruises. This is Ryan speaking. How can I assist you?" I cleared my throat. "Yes, I have a reservation I need to discuss." I glanced down at the confirmation number, and for the first time in years, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Control. "Can you please verify the reservation number for me, ma'am?" Ryan asked, his voice polite but mechanical. I read it out loud, scanning the document twice to make sure I got it right. "Thank you," he replied. I could hear him clicking on his keyboard. "Yes, I have the reservation here. 3 cabins. Paradise Seas Cruise, departing next Friday. Guests are Ethan Miller, Olivia Miller, Ava Miller, Liam Miller, and Patricia Reynolds." Not a single mention of me. It stung, hearing it listed like that, like a roll call of exactly who belonged and who didn't. "And how can I help you with this reservation today?" Ryan asked. I paused. For a brief second, my fingers trembled against the phone. Part of me, the naive part, still hoped this was all some misunderstanding. Maybe there was an explanation. Maybe Ethan had just been busy. Maybe Olivia accidentally blocked me. Maybe... No. I forced myself to stop. I had spent too many years making excuses for people who clearly never made any for me. "I'd like to know the cancellation policy," I said, steady but firm. "Absolutely," Ryan replied, fingers typing. Again. "Since the reservation is fully prepaid, you are eligible for a full refund as long as the cancellation is made more than 72 hours before departure." I stared at the paperwork on the table. "Good," I said. "Good to know." "Would you like me to proceed with that today?" he asked. I took a breath. "Not yet. I just needed the information." "Understood. If you decide to cancel, feel free to call back or manage the booking online using your account email." "Thank you, Ryan. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?" "No. That'll be all. Thank you for choosing Paradise Seas Cruises. Have a wonderful day." The call disconnected. I sat there in silence for a long time, phone still in my hand. I knew now that I could cancel at any time. The question was, should I? I wasn't sure what made me check my email next. Habit, maybe. Or just looking for anything. That would distract me from the boiling mix of humiliation and fury in my chest. That's when I saw it. An email from Paradise Seas Cruises, timestamped 9:03 a.m. that morning. "Important update regarding your reservation." My heart jumped. I clicked it open. At first, it seemed like a generic reminder. Travel requirements, final payment confirmations, check-in instructions. But then, my eyes caught a forwarded message. Right there, at the bottom, it was from Olivia. Forwarded to the cruise company that morning. "Can you please make sure my mother, Patricia Reynolds, is listed as the main point of contact for this booking instead of her?"